Welcome everybody, Alexander Love here. So glad to be here with you today. And in this video, what I'm going to do is bring us through a practice where we can explore this myth of separation and explore the spell of being broken. If you didn't watch the first video that was introducing the myth of separation, I'd encourage you to just go back and watch that now. You can see the little thing to click above and it'll take you there. After you've explored that, then come back here and do this practice with me if you like. So, the myth of separation is the process through which we look at our experience as humanity as a gift that intrinsically has this sacred gap between the knower and the known. And it is within this gap that we awaken consciously to deeper experiences of wholeness, of agony, of union, of reunion, of communion. So what we're going to do today is we're going to explore practice to help us get a taste of this. What we're going to begin with here is looking at your history, your story, the unfolding of your life. So let's begin by going back all the way to the beginning of your life. Now, this is a pre-verbal time, so the invitation here is to just gently touch into it with your intention, an intention of the heart, to make contact with the beginning of your life. Just feeling into what it was like to be born into this world. You may know a little bit about your history, so you may know if you entered a peaceful world, if you entered a chaotic world. Whatever it is, just let yourself dream into that experience. Now, go ahead and make contact with the place in you that is 2 years old. Finding that place in you that was alive and moving and engaging in this life as a very young person, a toddler. What do you see? What do you encounter? What kind of pain did you have a relationship with? What kind of joy? Now, go ahead and make contact with a 7-year-old. When you were 7 years old, find that place in you. What was your life like? What was your experience? And here you can make contact with a moment that felt painful for you, where you felt separate. Maybe you had a sense of not belonging. Maybe it was a sense of not belonging to your family. Or maybe it was a sense of not belonging to your friends at school. Just allowing yourself to look at this with gentleness, with love. Taking notice of, even though it was painful at the time, what were you learning? How did those moments when you were 7, when you were 8, when you were 9, how are those moments of pain, of connection, of disconnection, how were they already seeding your life with discovery, with possibilities that maybe you wouldn't come to for years, maybe decades? Now, what about high school? Go ahead and make contact with the teenager in you. Really trying to feel yourself as a teenager, where you are already walking through the story of being human, whether you knew that or not. You are already co-creating a narrative in which there's a sacred gap, a narrative in which there was separation that you were grappling with. What were some of the things that occurred in your life as a teenager that stand out to you now? Touch those things. Become intimate with those places in you. Let this dimension of your living history foreground, make contact. What were you learning? Even though you may not have even known you were learning, what were you learning? What were the deep lessons that you were learning? Now, what about the four or 5 years after high school? Maybe this was when you were in college. Maybe this is when you started working after high school. How did your life change? What were some of the significant moments that occur to you now? What were some of the most significant places of pain? Places where you felt isolation, disconnection, maybe fractured. The moments where you perhaps concluded that you were broken. Or simply moments where the world broke your heart. Allowing those young adult aspects of you to come forward and remind you of what it felt like. Feeling them closely. And taking a look at how was this the next phase of you learning about the gifts of separation. The separation between the knower and the known. Where you could experience heartbreak and reflect on that heartbreak to ask why? Why all of this? What does it mean? What do I mean? What do I care about? How does the things that have affected me ignite my care as a person? Looking at how some of these significant events in your life evoked a fire in you or evoked a collapse in you. That there was a direct response from a looker who was paying attention to your life, to the world, and responding. Now allowing yourself to move years beyond that moment. You're all different ages, so I'll let you choose. The next significant moment, the one that comes to you, not logically, but the one that just arrives, a moment that shook you, a moment that rattled your heart, that caused you to wake up and look and say, why? Why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to others? Why? And see if you can build a picture of yourself at that moment. What did your face look like? What was the disposition of your heart? What were you feeling? And what is the power and the impact of feeling that now and recognizing that this too was part of a co-woven story, the story of us? How do your tears and your questions, how do they inform and impact this larger human story? The story of us. As we fumble through the world, as we coast through the world, as we wander through the world, as we charge through the world, all along we have this looker that's looking at ourselves and looking at the world and coming up with conclusions and frames of understanding and meaning and disillusionment. What's the impact of seeing all of this as a part of a sacred story? Now, noticing anywhere in you right now that is sure that you are broken. See if you can find any place within you that is sure that along this journey that you've been exploring here with me, that there's a part of you that has concluded that you're broken, or that something is terribly wrong, or that something is just simply bad at the core. Find that place within you. What does that place look like? What does that place feel like? And now from this larger vantage point of seeing your life, of seeing our lives as human beings, as part of a beautiful sacred story filled with lessons, filled with learning, filled with possibility, filled with purpose. With that sense, embrace this part of you that is sure that they are fundamentally broken, fundamentally bad, like there's just something off at a deep level. Bring that part of you into a place of holding, loving care, from a dimension of being that can see that there's a wider arc to this story. It doesn't end with fracture. Fracture is one of the lessons along the way. And embracing that here right now. Not having fallen under the spell of separation, but embracing that this place in you that feels bad or broken or wrong or something, ashamed to exist, that this is part of a larger narrative that is filled with infinite gems to be uncovered. So let's bring this to a pause. If you like, you can journal a little bit and write down what this brought up for you, what you discovered. If you liked this practice, please like, share, subscribe. If you'd like more things to explore like this, you can find links below that will take you to all sorts of fun things to play with and explore. I hope that this has served you in some way. Thank you.